Hello again, everyone, and welcome to the Galen Snyder Show. I'm Vince Reed, and we're brought to you by Aria Health, your neighbors in Lower Bucks County, and also by Peruzzi Buick GMC on Business Route 1 in Langhorne. Well, as we told you, of course, and as you know, the three non-league ball games have been played right now, so that means that this week we head into the league play in the Suburban One League National Conference, getting ready for that. And as I look at this Pennsbury Ball Club, from what I've seen, and one of the reasons you want to play the tough teams that Pennsbury has played, as Galen Snyder has mentioned, with the likes, of course, of Easton up there, Frankfurt down here, and Downingtown East at their home field as well. You want to really prepare your team for the league. Well, I've got to say one thing, in watching this Pennsbury team so far this year, I think really, Galen, you've accomplished what you wanted to do. I thought the team got better with each and every week and really played a very good game, especially for 3 quarters against this Downingtown East Ball Club. And I really think what you had in mind when you scheduled teams like this was to get them prepared for the league, and I think you really are.
Yeah, I believe so, and I agree with your assessment that we definitely got better each week. And now that we enter into the league competition, I think we're starting to really get to where we need to be to hopefully win each and every week and bring home the league title.
When you look at this ball game, let's take a look at this Downingtown East Cougar Ball Club. I mean, they spread you out. They're sending 5 guys out most of the time. They got Kyle Lauletta, who really is an outstanding football player, an excellent quarterback for this team. I thought you guys really played them well. You were playing them just about even Steven until that 4th quarter, when it turns out when you're only down by 7 and in a punting situation, and then of course they got a roughing the punter situation there. Then after that, everything seemed to go downhill. But you had to be happy about the way this team played for 3 quarters against that club.
Yeah, I was, and I thought all 3 phases of the game we did some positive things, and I think that like I said, we showed a lot of improvement from the first week, and that's the type of team. They're a very good team, Downingtown East. I'd love to have a crack at them again in the playoffs, because I think we're only going to continue to get better, and I think that I see them playing at their potential right now.
Right.
I think they're playing their best ball right now, and like I said, I'd love to get another crack at them in the playoffs.
Well, you never know with the way things go. Of course, with that situation coming up at the end of the year, that could also happen. But when you look at this ball game, from your standpoint, to your side of it, you went against a passing team that probably is going to be more passes thrown at you with different variations than anybody else you're going to see the rest of the year. You had to be pretty happy about the way things turned out, the way your team was playing defense against that.
No doubt. They give you everything, and they have an excellent quarterback. I was saying, we were talking about it after the game, where this kid ranks up with the quarterbacks that we've seen. I've been here at Pennsbury, and I really think he's probably the 3rd best kid. I think the first best was Downingtown.
Devlin?
Start with Devlin,
yeah,
and then Persa,
right.
Liberty, who ended up,
Northwestern, yeah,
starter at Northwestern. And I think this kid's right there, right behind those 2, and those 3 are definitely cut above everybody else.
Now, you look at your ball club and how you played. You got to be really happy about your special teams on kickoff returns, able to return 2 there by Sean Pepper for touchdowns. That had to feel good to see your special teams work like that.
It did, and Shawnee had a big game, and showed that he's every bit as good of a player as any of those Division I guys that Downingtown East has. And in addition to that, Coach Michael Palmbauer, who's our special teams and coach and offensive line coach, he does a real good job of bringing the kids along, and again, they get better week to week.
Well, you look at your ball club here and coming out of that ball game, as we said, having a chance to really, way it was going into that 4th quarter of play, to really spring an upset against this team. You were playing extremely well. Your team also was moving the football nicely. You got some good games there as well in the running department for your ball club, and that had to be good for you.
No doubt. Like I said, I felt like on the line of scrimmage we were winning the game on both sides of the ball. I thought we won those battles, and obviously they have a lot of strength on their skill spots. receivers and things like that. But yeah, no doubt, it's you know, I take away, you know, we wanted to win, but you know, we also took away some positives.
You know, you had, of course, Akeem Stewart giving you a nice ball game as well. We saw Daquan Mack in this ball game in the fourth quarter for the first time in the backfield. Will we be seeing more of him as the league season gets underway this week?
Yeah, you're going to see Daquan from now on out playing some fullback for us and playing a lot of fullback for us. So, you know, he's back. We didn't want to rush him, you know, before he was ready and have something linger. You know, we got him some work, you know, on the defensive
Right.
side of the ball where you're not getting tackled and it's a little bit different. You can kind of protect yourself a little better. But now he's ready to go, and you know, you're going to be seeing a lot of Daquan from here on out.
Will we, with the opportunity there presents itself, will we see Stewart and Mack in the backfield at the same time anytime?
Actually, you probably will. You probably see Stewart run some halfback for us. Now, he needs to go back and play defense because he's one of our best defensive players. But, you know, he's going to split some time on offense, and, you know, just at times you probably see him, Akeem, Daquan, and Shawnee all together in the backfield.
And as far as that goes, we know they scored touchdowns through the air, but of course, when I look at it too, your team has been playing very well when it comes to defensively and since that first game to the third. And I think really when you look at the interceptions and the balls knocked down, your secondary has been doing a nice job.
Yep, no doubt. You know, the kids have made, you know, we've made some moves too, you know,
yeah,
in certain spots, but, you know, some kids like, you know, the Campbell kid, he did a nice job. He keeps getting better. I mean, you know, Easton was his first varsity start. So,
right.
You know, he's gotten better. He got a nice pick, and he'll continue to get better, as will the other guys.
Oh, we're being brought to you, of course, by Aria Health, your neighbors in Lower Bucks County, and also by Peruzzi Buick GMC, located on Business Route 1 in Langhorne. We're talking to Galen Snyder, the head coach of the Falcon Ball Club. As we mentioned, this is the week that they get underway with the league season this time, and of course they'll be heading up and taking on a Harry Truman Ball Club at home for the first league game of the year.
Tom from Mooresville says that Aria Health's emergency department saved his life. Recently, while playing golf, Tom experienced cardiac arrest and the ambulance took him to Aria Health Bucks County campus, where Dr. Emmerich and his team of doctors and nurses took fast action and literally brought Tom back to life. Dr. Emmerich visited Tom frequently, answered all his questions, even gave him his phone number. Led by Dr. Harry Emmerich, the emergency department at Aria Health Bucks County provides 24/7 care in a leading-edge environment. To learn more about Tom's story at Aria Health Bucks County, visit ariahealth.org/Tom. That's ariahealth.org/Tom.
Hi, this is Larry at Peruzzi Buick GMC. You'll hit a home run every weekend at Peruzzi Buick GMC Service Department. Every Saturday and Sunday, Peruzzi Buick GMC is offering a standard oil and filter change for just $19.95. And remember, Peruzzi Buick GMC is open every Sunday from 8 to 5. Peruzzi Buick GMC is the home of the 3495 Pennsylvania State and Emissions Inspection every day of the week. No matter where you purchase your car or truck, you can get it serviced 7 days a week at Peruzzi Buick GMC. And remember, we're open Sundays from 8 a.m. to 5 p.m.
Know and maybe have seen of this Harry Truman Ball Club this year?
Well, they run some triple option. They run the veer, you know, and they do it from like a pistol look. You know, it's kind of a short shotgun look, and you know, then beyond that, they're in like the double wing with the fullback behind the quarterback, and you know, I saw them against Fells. They beat Fells in the last second field goal. Last Saturday, and you know, they're doing a good. Ed Cubbage doing a good job coaching them up, and you know, he's got the kids, you know, enthusiastic and doing a good job.
They seem to have a couple of good running backs in Manny Fisher and Jordan Livingston. That seems like a 1-2 punch for that ball club in the backfield.
Yeah, they're both a couple good-sized kids with some speed, and you know, they're doing a good job thus far.
The way your lines have been coming along, especially against, as I mentioned, the competition you played and the 3 ball games, how do you assess that going up against this Truman line this week?
Well, I mean, you know, between Easton and Downingtown, you're playing 2 of the top teams in the state, and Frankfurt's a good club as well. So, you know, our guys are prepared for, you know, anything they're going to see coming up here in the league. Especially his first few weeks.
You look at the Truman Ball Club, and of course, this is a team that, not too long ago was in a situation where, you wondered with all of the numbers that they had, but they're saying about the fact that, they're feeling better as we talking to them in the Coaches Roundtable show every week, and they're feeling better about themselves, and also they got more numbers out now.
That's what they say, yeah. They say they got them out. And that's good. You need to play with confidence, and, I always, if we're not playing Truman, considering the fact I used to be the head coach there, and that's where I got my start, I always pull for Truman whenever I watch him.
One of the things, of course, you told me I was down in the field, and I always ask you when I get down there, are there any changes you're going to make? And I think you made a surprise one there on everybody, and especially going up against Downingtown East, a tough customer. You had Breon Clark, the transfer, come in and play at quarterback for you in that ball game. As you were looking at the first 3 games of the year, how was he coming along for you to be able to say, I'm going to put him in against maybe the toughest team that we play?
Well, he's been with us now, this would be his 6th week with us, so really we gave him a start after having 5 weeks of practice.
Right.
And, I think that's enough time to get the system under his belt, and, he did a really nice job for his first time out there.
Well, I'll tell you, I mentioned about the fact that, I thought he was, we had him on after the ball game as our star of the ball game. But I mentioned about the fact that he threw a really nice ball. Those first 2 passes, he got one for 30 yards. The second one, of course, was a total of 70 yards. And, to see you in 2 pass plays get 100 yards in the air, that's something unique as far as that goes for Pennsbury.
First of all, you didn't give Shawnee player to get
Oh, yeah. Well, we tried to get him, but they told us he was already headed to the bus and we couldn't get him.
All right.
We got to try to get both of them, really.
I got you. No, I mean, obviously, Breon has a very strong arm. That's one of the things that you see right away when he throws the ball. And he's got more than just his arm. He shows a lot of poise back there for a young kid. Yeah. He's got good size. He's mobile, so he's got a good attitude too.
What I liked about him was the fact that I felt he's a really good touch for a kid that first got his first start under fire against a team like that. He threw the ball extremely well, leading his receivers where he needed to be. I really felt that the kid was, I think, even after just 1 ball game and watching a few passes from him, I said over the air, and I do feel this, that he's probably the best throwing quarterback you've had since you've been there.
Well, he's definitely one of the best. I mean, we've had some kids with pretty good arms before. Maybe our first year here, Bobby Spear was a pretty good thrower.
Yeah.
And, I remember in 2005, Zach Kroll did a real nice job.
Yeah.
And we've, of course, Victor Iturbide was a, big physical kid who got better throwing. And as a matter of fact, probably threw his best in the state semifinals against Liberty. But as far as just naturally at that age, as a sophomore coming out and winging the ball around, he definitely has the strongest arm of any, definitely any 15-year-old we've had.
I know one of the things that I was looking at, like I said, the thing that stood with me was the fine touch that he had on the ball and throws that spiral out there. And I looked at him and I thought to myself, well, you may have found something that you haven't had for a while. When you take a look at it, if he can come through for you for the rest of this year, you're looking at somebody who come back a couple of years. You haven't had that luxury of a quarterback too often back and back.
No, that's true. And you're right. I mean, he with his arm, he presents the opposing defenses with a challenge when they face us. I mean, obviously they know we're going to run the ball, but if they get a little too greedy and start putting too many guys up, I think Breon showed, against Downingtown, and he'll continue to show that he's going to, he can hurt them.
I know one of the things I mentioned to him, and I thought, well, this is going to be interesting when I talk to your coach. But I said, Breon, do you think now they ought to put in more pass plays since they're mainly a running team all these years? And he said, yeah, we might have to do that.
Well, we'll see. We'll take it one week at a time. I mean, we're not going to change our identity. We're going to be a running team. But he definitely brings something to the table as far as having the ability to make some big plays there throwing the ball.
what he does is really give you the opportunity there is the fact that right off the start, when it comes to it at a ball game, these ball clubs, if they see that he continues to do what he did in that first ball game last week, is that they'll have to be more honest and worrying about the pass as well as the run.
Yeah, and if the team has to be honest, it gets very difficult to stop our running game. I think we showed in the playoffs last year, and Bruce Campbell came along and did a real nice job. But you saw in the playoffs, with Abington and Coatesville when they, had to do what they had to do to try to stop our run game. Bruce was able to, hurt
Right.
them. He was able to do damage throwing the ball, and North Penn, on the other hand, they didn't have to do that. They kind of, although we ran the ball, we weren't able to put the ball in the end zone, but they were able to play us not with 9 men or something like that. They were able to kind of sit 3 guys back deep and still play us with their front 8. Obviously if somebody puts a 9th up, Breon's going to, he gives the ability to really hurt them.
Yeah.
And to be honest with you, even with 8, if they, which I think we can run the ball on almost anybody if they just decide to play us with 8, he could still probably, be effective throwing the ball against like a 3D type situation.
And I was talking to Mike Mata down on the field before the ball game, the coach of the Downingtown East, and I mentioned about the fact that you guys had played their biggest rival, which comes up this week, Coatesville, and what you were able to do against them in the playoff. And he mentioned about Coatesville, though, is a lot different than his ball club. He tries to be more of a team that can hurt you and move. He figures Coatesville is more of a finesse kind of ball club, whereas Downingtown East will try to also use their power to hurt you a little bit.
Yeah, they didn't really run other than the quarterback. The quarterback did a nice job, but
right.
The regular run power O,
right,
which is their main running play and their stretch and their counter, they didn't do too much. We were able to handle them,
right,
on the line of scrimmage and stop their base running. It was the quarterback that really was the difference maker.
All right, we are coming to you, of course, through ARIA Health, helping to bring us your show here today. And ARIA Health, your neighbors here in Lower Bucks County, and also by Peruzzi, GMC, and Buick. And of course, we have them coming your way here with the Galen Snyder show. And of course, we're getting ready for the Harry Truman ball game coming up this week. And we are, of course, now in league play in the Suburban 1 League National Conference. All the teams will open up with their league ball games this time around as we get ready for some really good action to be coming your way throughout the course of the rest of this season. Of course, Pennsbury is going to be home for this one as we get ready for the league. And let's talk about the league a little bit here this season. And you look at what's in store for you. You've got some good ball games coming up against some of these ball clubs. And of course, maybe some of these teams haven't done as well. I'm talking about like the Council Rock Ball Club so far. North did get their first win. But one of the things is when you come into league play and you play these league ball games, it's a little different than them playing non-league competition. They seem to get up more for these ball games.
Sure they do, and they know we all know each other better.
Right.
So when it comes to defensing one another, we have a better feel for that. What we need to do because we play each other every year. So. It'll be interesting. Every team has to make a decision how they're going to get their team ready for the league. And, in our case, what we did. And some other teams, they didn't take the hardest roads. And, well, I'll take a team like our opponent, Truman. They did what they had to do, which is,
right.
They know that once they hit the league, the wins are going to be tough to come by. So, if I was in Truman, I'd do the same thing they did, which is they tried to, get 3 games that, were winnable games, and they ended up winning 2 out of 3.
The biggest thing is
smart.
And that is smart because of the fact that this is a band of kids where when you get into the league, it's going to be really tough. But you want to instill in them that they can win.
Yeah, absolutely. So for them, it makes sense. And I think for us, what we did makes sense as well.
Yeah. I thought myself, I had mentioned this to a couple of people as we were talking, that yourself, along with LaSalle and St. Joe's Prep, probably, in my mind, played the best as far as that goes competition of the teams that are within the southeastern Pennsylvania area. I think you 3 teams went out and played the best you could find.
Well, at North Penn.
And North Penn, right, there's another one.
Yeah, North Penn did that, and,
They do it every year too.
They ended up 1-2, but
Right.
now they're going to go on to their league, and
Yeah.
then they're going to do a lot of damage as they always do.
Yeah, they're North Penn, as people say there in the Continental Conference, because they're a tough customer every year, and they're so used to getting into the playoffs and making it deep into the playoffs as well. Of course, we won't worry about the playoffs right now. Right now at hand, we're concerned about this ball game coming up, and of course, that's the first league contest for you, taking on this Harry Truman Ball Club, and we're looking for a good game as we get ready for that one, taking on the Tigers in this contest under the lights.
I appreciate it.
All right, Galen Snyder, of course, we bring you every week the Galen Snyder Show, brought to you by ARIA Health, your neighbors in Lower Bucks County, and by Peruzzi, Buick, and GMC. They're located on Business Route 1 in Langhorne. For Galen Snyder, I'm Vince Reed. So long, everybody.